Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. And welcome to our reading wrap up for the months of April, May, and June. Originally, I was going to make this video a two-parter video where the first half of the video I did my quarter wrap up, and then the second half I used my quarter wrap up stats to do a D&D solo adventure. Link below the video where I built a character for D&D with my quarter one stats. But after filming the first part of this video, I decided that I was going to break it up. So this video, we're going to be talking about our quarter two stats. And the following video is going to be me using those stats to start playing my first solo D&D campaign. So let's go ahead and hop into our stats and see how we did here in April, May, and June. So we have read 24 books in 2026 and read 9,704 pages. I have a goal of 60 books this year, so we are a little bit off track. But honestly, that is a-okay, because really we were just trying to figure out what reading looks like with a baby, and that is what it seems to look like thus far. But in quarter two, we actually read 12 books. But let's first dive into April. But in the month of April, we read 3 books, and we read 1,499 pages with an average rating of 3.67. Don't think that this is accurate for the print and digital. Half City I read as an audiobook, and The Impossible Imposter I have the physical book, but I do believe I read it digitally. And The Late Mrs. Willoughby I read digitally. So realistically, all of these were digital, even though it says print. Sometimes I have a hard time finding it in Storygraph, and I just really don't care to put that much effort into actually making sure it's right. But yeah, it was a fairly solid month. So we gave Half City 4 stars, The Impossible Imposter 4 stars, and then The Late Mrs. Willoughby 3 stars. Only one of these books was a new to me author and a new series, and that was Half Cities by Kate Golden. Is that right? Kate Golden? I think so. This book is I guess like urban fantasy / dark academia for demon hunters. Our main character, she lives in a city where like there's a gaping hole into hell, and so there's all sorts of baddies, and she is a special kind of hunter that like essentially like the need to hunt is an A flux, I don't remember. It's been a couple months since I read it. But yeah, so she is a special kind of hunter. Her dad was killed in battle, and unlike most of the other hunters, she's been killing demons since she was younger, because of like how her blood works or whatever, her type of hunter gene works. And so she finds out about this school for hunters that her dad never told her about, and so she basically ends up going to the school primarily to figure out why her dad went to this school and why her dad never told her about this school, and then kind of gets into everything. Yeah, I give it 4 stars. I thought she was pretty annoying, to be honest. One of those characters who just like has a chip on her shoulder and really doesn't get rid of it and really just makes decisions. She's pretty selfish like 95% of the time, and then she's acting like she's not being selfish, but like she just thinks about herself a lot and just is very impulsive. And she's one of those characters where I don't understand why half the characters tolerate her so much, but I think perhaps she'll get better in the series. I liked it enough. I had enough fun with it that I am going to read the next book in the series. I would call it that new, like, not young adult, what do they call it? New adult or whatever, where, like, she's college aged. She's, like, in her early 20s. Everyone's in their early 20s. But, like, you still get, like, that academic setting, which is really fun. So it's got a lot of interesting elements to it. A lot of the stuff is fairly predictable, which I mean is fine. You just don't see a lot of more urban fantasies, and so I did enjoy that this was an urban fantasy, so I would still recommend this. And like I said, I think it's going to be a trilogy, so I will be picking up the next book in this series. The next book is An Impossible Imposter, Deanna Raybourn. This is the sixth book in the Veronica Speedball series. Veronica pretends to be a princess from like a small German principality who suddenly goes missing, and she just happens to really look like her. And so yeah, she's doing that while they're trying to solve a murder. I think this one was not my least favorite. This might be the seventh one. This is the seventh one. I'm sorry. The sixth one was probably one of my least favorite in the series. And then this one was better than before, I believe. I think the fifth book is still my favorite in the series. I was reading the eighth book, but I've kind of got off track, and I will be going back to reading them because there is the ninth book, and then the 10th book just came out recently. So I do want to catch up this year with the Veronica Speedball series. The next book is The Late Mrs. Willoughby by Claudia Gray, I'm pretty sure. This is also a series. It's the Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilney series. It's a Jane Austen, not adaptation. It takes place in Jane Austen's world. Yes, so it's Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth's eldest son, and then Catherine and Henry's daughter from Northanger Abbey. And they end up they're surrounded by characters from Jane Austen's stories and keep getting caught up in these murder investigations. I will say that the mysteries of these stories don't really appeal to me. I just really enjoy the dynamic between Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilney. And I also like to see how the author kind of incorporates these different Austen characters. I think she's pretty creative when it comes to where they would be from now and from where they would be in this situation, all that kind of stuff. So that's our April stats. Let's move on to May. So in May, we also read 3 books. Oh my God. Wow. It's so close. So we read 3 books. It was 1,489 pages opposed to 99 pages, and another average rating of 3.67. That is pretty funny. So same stats here. We got 2 4-stars and 1 3-star. And I think I read, this says print, but all of these I read digitally. They were all ebooks. 2 I got from the library, and 1 I had on my Kindle. The Empire of Shadows is the first book in a series. It's called the Something of Arcana by Jacqueline Benson. I've been wanting to read this book since Kayla from Books and Lola talked about it a while ago. I think she was looking for romantices or romances that she'd be interested in. And this one is kind of in the same vein, I feel like, of both the Veronica Speedball series and the Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilney series, in that they're Victorian. It's historical mystery romance set in the Victorian time period, and we follow a woman who is into it. She really wanted to be in archaeology, but because she's a woman, she kind of gets sidelined into this it was the British archives, and she's really good at her job, but she ends up she's about to get fired because she's also participating in the suffragette movement in Britain. And in this process, she finds a map to a supposed lost city in Latin America, and then and then gets chased by this nefarious-looking man, and she decides that she's gotta go, and she's gotta find this city. And in the process, she runs into this American who has been basically creating maps of Honduras, where it's located. I'm pretty sure it's Honduras. And eventually he ends up agreeing to help her, and so they go on this quest, and things ensue. Like I mentioned, there is a romance element to it, but it's definitely a bit of a slow burn. And I started the second book, but I didn't finish it yet. I do plan on finishing it. But I really had a good time with this book. It was a lot of fun. I didn't give it 5 stars. I think Kayla gave it 5 stars, but I still had a really, really good time with it. Blah. Next book is one that probably more people have heard of. It's Shield of Sparrows. It's a romantasy. Basically like this princess who gets married off to a different kingdom, and it's basically a way to keep all the kingdoms in this alliance, in this agreement. And so the princess that we follow ends up with this in this kingdom that nobody really knows anything about, and they're kind of sketchy, or at least everybody else thinks they're sketchy. And then she's basically given the task of trying to find the location of their capital. And when she gets into this land, the prince barely speaks to her, and she's kind of just like drifted around. She gets very frustrated, and there's also like these corrupted monsters around. And they're basically preparing for these crazy bird things that come and like kill people every so often. I know I'm not pitching this well. It's been a while since I read it, but yeah, I had fun. I thought it was decent. I had a good time. There is another book that's coming out, but I haven't felt compelled to read it yet. I will, although I've heard some mixed reviews about the second one, but I definitely will read it. I will. Third book we read in May was The Peril of Lady Catherine de Bourgh. It is what it sounds like. Lady Catherine de Bourgh is getting attempts on her life, and she calls in Mr. Tilney, she calls in Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilney to come and solve the mystery. I think if I had to rate these, so you'll see in the next, well, I guess I can talk about that in June, because I did read the fourth one in June. But I think from the 3, I'd rate like 1, 3, 2. I think 2 is my least favorite, if I was to say. And like I said, the mysteries to me, I don't care all that much about. But it's just the relationships I think are super fun. Where are you off to? So that was May. Now, June, we actually read 6 books. So we basically doubled our reading in June, which makes sense because I did participate in the tarot card readathon. So I tried to get a little more reading in. I've also started a book club with my mom's group. So we also read a book. So that added like some extra motivation to get some reading in last month. So yeah, we read 6 books. We read... 2,284 pages, and we had an average rating of 4 stars, which I think is exceptional. I had 5 stars I had 3 5-stars in the month of June, which with not having a 5-star in either April or May, I think is super awesome. So I read This Story Might Save Your Life by Tiffany Crum. It's been talked about a lot. I won't go into it too much, but our book club really loved this. I really had a great time. This is not typically my genre, but I just thought the story was told really well, and I'm shocked this is a debut. Then I read Jane Austen's Bookshelf. This is a nonfiction that was actually on the Goodreads Choice Awards, and one of the books I wanted to read from there. And then I was super motivated to read it when Kayla from Books and Lala said that she absolutely loved it and gave it 5 stars. So I was super excited to read this, and I had a really great time. There are some books on here. There were some books that were talked about in Jane Austen's Bookshelf that I eventually want to do, maybe as a vlog, maybe not, but still want to read them. And then I also read The Reformatory by Tiana Rivdu, and I feel like this book has been talked about a lot. I also did a full vlog where I talked about it as well, so I'm not going to like hash out what it's about, but it's a Southern Gothic about a young boy who ends up getting sent to one of these reformatory schools, and there's a little bit of like ghost situation in here, along with a lot of commentary on the Jim Crow South. So those were our 3 5-stars. The other books that we read were, as I mentioned, I did read the 4th book in the Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilney series, the Rushworth Family Plot. I gave that one 4 stars. I do think that one is probably my favorite. out of the 4, which is good. And then I did continue on with the Dresden Files series. I finally read the 18th book that came out in January, which is 12 months. I gave that one 4 stars. And then I did have one star this month, which sucked. It's called Gods in Comics by Kat Cho. I think I also talked about this as well in another vlog, but honestly, it just really was like, nothing about this book really spoke to me. It's about this girl who is doing like she does a Korean webtoon where she basically has like Korean gods who get reincarnated into teenage bodies, and then her main character, comes to life in the real world. I really love these kind of stories, but this one just did not hit for me at all, and I was so sad. I was glad that I got it from the library and did not purchase it because I would have been really disappointed. Looking at some of our other stats here, I am pretty sure that this was all digital. Well, no. So Jane Austen's Bookshelf was an audiobook. 12 Months was a combo. I read print, and I also listened to some of the audiobook. The Rushworth Family Plot was an ebook. The Reformatory was a combo of audiobook and physical book. Gods and Comics is an ebook, and The Story Might Save Your Life was all audiobook, which I definitely recommend because it's like a podcast format along with like double narration, and it's a really good audiobook, so I would highly recommend that one. That is the quick and dirty of our Q2 reads and our plans for Q3. We already finished up Summerween by the time I finished this, and we had a fairly successful Summerween. I think I enjoyed it. I am working on my most anticipated sequels for 2026, but I kind of like with Summerween got off, and now I think I'm going to move into reading books for DragonCon. Excuse me one moment. I'll be doing some books for authors that are going to be at DragonCon, and I don't know if I talked about this a lot, but I am changing up the types of videos that I primarily do on this channel. So I think I'm going to continue on with these quarterly updates. I'm going to be doing a lot more spoiler-filled vlogs because I feel like they are easier for me to film. They're shorter and it's easier for me to edit, which I think will be more sustainable for this channel as we have Baby, and Baby is becoming more and more mobile. So I just think like picking 2 or 3 books a month to do spoiler-filled vlogs on is probably more sustainable. And honestly, I have a lot of fun doing it. Like I might like name the series like one-way book clubs with me or something like that, and then that way like people who are interested and maybe don't know somebody else who's read the book and just wants to hear someone like give their full thoughts on a book, they can come and watch my videos. I really got the idea because I was just thinking about my Dresden File series where they were all spoiler filled, and I was looking back on those videos, so I was trying to remind myself about something, and I just really think that I had a lot of fun. I feel like it comes through in the videos that I just have a lot of fun talking about these books and being able to just give you like my full thoughts. And so I just think that might just be a good format for me going forward. So I think for the DragonCon books, those are going to all be spoiler-filled vlogs. And I'm going to do like, I think 3 authors, Delilah S. Dawson, Matt Dinniman, and then I forgot who Ashley Poston. Because those are all 3 authors that I've wanted to read from and have yet to. So I thought it would be a good idea to do spoiler-filled vlogs for each one of their like most popular books. So obviously Dungeon Crawler Carl, which has been on my list. And then I'm going to read The Guillotine for Delilah S. Dawson, and also going to read The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. So those are my 3 books that I plan on reading sometime between now and the end of August before I go to DragonCon and doing spoiler-filled vlogs. And then I might also be finishing up. So I started reading The Other Bennett Sister. Didn't finish it because I couldn't get through the first half of it. Honestly, I'm about 35% of the way through the book. Watched the show. Fucking loved the show. And so I want to do like a little bit of a hodgepodge of like talking about the show, talking about the book, and then also like talking a little bit about my experience, my Jane Austen experience, because I did think like some of the things that were shown in there really related to some of the things I learned. And then also talking just a little bit more about the history. Okay, I think that's better. Of course, the lawn guys are coming here. Yeah, so I think that's really my plans for the near future. I don't really have September plans. Oh, that's the other one. And then, of course, I'm probably going to be doing 2 Dragon Con vlogs. I will be doing a Dragon Con, like, get ready for Dragon Con with me. I might do a get ready for Dragon Con with me and like tips and tricks for Dragon Con in early August, because I do think like it's a big to do. And so just kind of like talking through some of the things that we do each year when we're going to Dragon Con, and then obviously do a Dragon Con vlog for when we go with my new camera, which I'm so excited about. I want to get like something where I can like clip it on so I don't have to hold it. Of course. Hold on. The long guys are here. Okay. Yeah, so I will be doing a Dragon Con vlog again. I was looking at my last one and it was like 45 minutes, but it was like I did like unboxing for the books and stuff that I got. We suddenly had to get really close because baby's face is, I still see him peeking. Hold on. There we go. Because baby's face was in the camera. Yeah, so sorry we're getting so close now. But yeah, so I have this new camera, so I think I'm going to be able to get more for each day of Dragon Con. So it'll be more of just like a Dragon Con adventure. But yeah, so those my plans for like Q3 thus far. And then, of course, Q4, we'll be getting the holiday stuff. But that is for another conversation. I'd love to hear how your Q2 reading went, if you participated in any readathons, if there were any great books that you read, and if you have any thoughts about like my plans and the plans for this channel, I'd love to hear them. So feel free to drop those down in the comment section. And of course, if you feel so inclined, to like and subscribe to our little bookish community over here on this side of the internet. We'd love to have you. And until next time, I hope you read a great book. I hope you find some joy and Lord. And most importantly, I hope you do something to make the world a better place. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.